The news hit like a shockwave, sudden, jarring, and impossible to ignore. In towns built around the hum of assembly lines, the announcement sent ripples of fear and disbelief through entire communities. 5 Asian auto giants, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Hyundai, and Kia, announced major retreats from their U.S. operations, scaling back production and shuttering plants that had become local landmarks. These plants weren't just factories, they were the economic lifeblood of towns across Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. Generations of families depended on these jobs, and entire neighborhoods grew up around the steady work they provided. For decades, these jobs offered a path to the middle class, funding homes, educations, and a sense of security. Paychecks from the plants paid for groceries, Little League uniforms, and college tuition, weaving a safety net for thousands. Now, that security is gone. The once busy factory floors are silent, break rooms empty, and the gates that once welcomed workers now stand locked. Tens of thousands are jobless, and entire regions face an uncertain future. Families are forced to make impossible choices, move away, take on debt, or cling to hope that something will change. Executives blamed global restructuring, the shift to electric vehicles and automation. They spoke of market forces and technological progress, offering little comfort to those left behind. But for workers, these felt like empty excuses. The reality was stark. Livelihoods lost, dreams deferred, and futures thrown into doubt. The closures aren't just about business, they're about lives upended. Every layoff means a family struggling to adapt, a community losing its anchor. John in Tennessee, after decades at Nissan, now competes for low-wage jobs, his experience suddenly undervalued in a changing economy. Maria in Georgia lost not just work, but her second family. The bonds forged on the line are hard to replace, and the sense of loss runs deep. As factory gates locked, panic spread. Rumors and uncertainty filled the air, and the community's sense of stability began to unravel. Small businesses, suppliers, schools, and city governments all felt the blow. The ripple effect reached every corner of these towns, threatening their very survival. The dream of a stable, prosperous life has been replaced by unemployment lines and the daunting task of starting over. For many, the future has never felt more uncertain. Georgetown, Kentucky was a Toyota town, its plant the city's identity and economic engine. Generations built their lives around the factory, with Toyota's name woven into every part of the community. The closure announcement stunned everyone. Toyota cited a shift to electric vehicles and consolidation outside Kentucky. Workers who built America's favorite cars like the Camry felt abandoned and confused. Decades-long careers vanished overnight. Retirement plans and skills built for combustion engines suddenly felt obsolete. The pride of wearing the Toyota logo turned to anxiety about mortgages and college tuition. The closure ended more than jobs. It ended an era and a partnership that once symbolized American manufacturing's promise. Now, Georgetown must redefine itself, grappling with the loss of the institution that shaped its prosperity. The question, what comes next for a town that lost its heart? In Marysville, Ohio, Honda wasn't just a company, it was a partner, its plant a source of local pride and prosperity. The closure came gradually. Shift reductions, model phase-outs, and empty reassurances. Official reasons, market shifts, high retooling costs, global efficiency, rang hollow for workers who'd given their all. David, a local supplier, watched his business collapse as Honda's orders dried up, a story echoed across the region. The network of suppliers, logistics, and service providers unraveled overnight. Workers who once spoke of the Honda way now feel betrayed, their loyalty unreturned. The empty plant stands as a monument to a broken promise. Marysville is left to pick up the pieces, its economic and emotional wounds deep. The partnership that once defined the town's success ended in heartbreak. Now, the community faces the challenge of rebuilding from the wreckage. The Nissan plant in Smyrna, Tennessee once stood as a beacon of hope, symbolizing the New South's manufacturing future and the promise of prosperity for generations. It brought thousands of stable, well-paying jobs, transforming the region and creating a thriving middle class. Families moved here for opportunity, and entire communities flourished around the plant's success. But the recent downsizing hit hard. Thousands of jobs vanished almost overnight, entire lines shut down, and the once busy factory floor fell silent. Nissan called it optimizing for the future, but for workers it meant pink slips, broken promises, and dreams that seemed suddenly out of reach. John, a veteran employee who dedicated decades to the company, had always planned to retire from Nissan, believing his loyalty would be rewarded. Now, in his late 50s, he's suddenly unemployed and facing financial insecurity he never expected at this stage of life. The bills keep coming, but the paychecks have stopped. Competing with younger workers for lower wages, John finds himself overlooked, his decades of experience undervalued. His future, once so certain, is now filled with doubt. The community's sense of security has vanished, replaced by anxiety and tough choices. Local businesses struggle, and neighbors worry about what tomorrow will bring. Families cut back, delay purchases, and worry about making ends meet. Simple pleasures are put on hold, and every dollar is stretched further than ever before. The pride of being part of a manufacturing powerhouse is gone, replaced by a sense of loss and uncertainty that hangs over the town. For John and thousands like him, the downsizing isn't just a job loss, it's the loss of a future they spent decades building, and the heartbreak of watching a dream slip away. Hyundai in Montgomery, Alabama, and Kia in West Point, Georgia, were once hailed as economic miracles for the Deep South, symbols of hope and progress in a region long searching for new opportunities. The arrival of these plants brought billions in investment and created thousands of jobs, lifting entire families out of poverty and sparking what many called a regional renaissance. Local businesses flourished, schools saw new funding, and towns that had been shrinking began to grow again. But the dream began to unravel when both companies announced major cutbacks and closures, shifting much of their production overseas. The news sent shockwaves through communities that had staked their futures on the promise of steady work. Now, towns that invested heavily in these plants face rising unemployment, shrinking tax bases, and a sense of betrayal. Local leaders scramble to fill the void, but the economic and emotional toll is immense. For workers like Maria, who spent years at the Kia plant, the loss is deeply personal. She lost more than a job, she lost a community, a sense of purpose, and a family built on the assembly line. The closure scattered friends and left her facing an uncertain future, unsure where to turn or how to rebuild what was lost. The initial boom was transformative, reshaping entire towns, but the bust has been nothing short of catastrophic, leaving scars that may last for generations. In West Point, food drives and retraining programs have become lifelines for thousands of displaced workers as the community rallies to support those left behind. The motto, "One Team," now means something different. It's about banding together for survival, finding strength and unity during the hardest of times. The future, once bright and full of promise, is now clouded by uncertainty and loss, as southern towns search for hope in the aftermath of a dream deferred. The closure of a massive auto plant sends ripples through the entire local economy. For every assembly line job lost, several more disappear in related sectors: suppliers, logistics, maintenance, and more. Family businesses and local shops lose their main customers and main streets empty out. Property values plummet and families find themselves underwater on mortgages. Local governments lose vital tax revenue, forcing cuts to police, fire, and schools. Essential services erode, making communities less safe and desirable. As jobs and services vanish, people leave, shrinking the tax base further. Once vibrant towns risk becoming hollowed-out shells, struggling to attract new investment. The domino effect turns a single corporate decision into a regional crisis. Losing a manufacturing job is more than a financial blow. It's a loss of identity and purpose. For many, the job was a source of pride and community, building something real and lasting. Without it, daily routines and camaraderie vanish, replaced by anxiety and shame. Workers who played by the rules now face foreclosure, unpaid bills, and the stigma of asking for help. The stress strains families, damages health, and erodes hope. Many lose health insurance just when they need it most, forced to skip care and medication. Substance abuse, family conflict, and even suicide rates rise in hard-hit communities. Parents put college plans on hold, and children feel the instability at home. The closures break not just company contracts but the social contract, leaving scars that last for generations. America's auto towns face a harsh new reality. Manufacturing is transforming and old jobs aren't coming back. The first step is a strong safety net, extended benefits, health coverage, mortgage help, and mental health support. Without this foundation, retraining and new careers are out of reach. Community colleges must lead the way, offering programs in advanced manufacturing, renewable energy, healthcare, and IT. Partnerships between government, schools, and business are essential to match training with real jobs. Long-term towns must diversify, attracting new industries and investing in infrastructure like high-speed internet. Government incentives and a skilled workforce can help draw innovative employers. The road ahead is tough, but with support and vision, these communities can rebuild. Their resilience and spirit can outlast any single factory, if given the chance to adapt and grow.